Looks like everybody leveled up on us again. Oh no, just this asshole. Raptor's drone Cachet gains 5% accuracy boost for everything. +1 movement speed. Confirm. No, accuracy. You never know when you might want to use him. Example, not this one because we're going into a wacky ruin. Duncan, what do you got for me? You wanted to find Wu stalking the floor silently, one hand held rigidly near his hip, the other flexing and unflexing again and again. When he notices you, he nods once and goes back to his caged panther routine. You're going to wear a hole in the floor that way. Need something? I didn't know you're not going to go on a rampage. See this pacing? This is how I don't go on a complete rampage. No, this shit is going to be controlled. Been thinking about Josephine Sang, what she did to her family, what she did to Carter. His pace increases a bit and his tusks jut forward slightly. Josephine Sang. Goddamn Josephine Sang. We'll find a way to get her. Good, because when we do, the old Duncan is coming out and playing. Wu's eyes smolder. Here's what we do. We walk into Sang headquarters and ask for the boss. When she comes down, we grab her, take her somewhere quiet, and ask her why she had Carter and those runners killed. Find out what happened to Raymond. Whether he's alive or dead, what happens next is up to her. Kidnap a member of the Hong Kong Executive Council while there's an APB out on us. It's bold. They'll never see it coming. This is the way to go, my way. Whoa, did you just say that? Yeah, what? There's only one way this'll go. He catches himself. Understanding appears in his eyes. That's what Ray used to say. Raymond Black, our benevolent dictator. No questioning his rules, no falling short of his expectations. It was his way or the wrong way. We'd get the full-on Raymond treatment. I didn't care to be on the receiving end of that, and I was more than once, that's for sure. You remember what happened a few years after we moved out of the squat into his house? That thing with Doubletray and Lockjaw when he accused us of relapsing back into our old ways? Man, that was when Ray's authority finally got tested. His raspy baritone is tinged with satisfaction when I finally stood up to him. Yeah, the way he handled that was part of the reason I eventually left. He just wouldn't listen. I thought that might have been part of it, but to be fair, I wasn't listening either. That was our pattern, wasn't it? I wouldn't listen, he wouldn't listen, then we butted heads, rinse and repeat once every few weeks. He smiles, but he's filled with regret. But that time was the worst. His face settles into an expression of resignation. Okay, Mr. Rourke, we don't need to do things my way. No need for us to butt heads. He stretches, you can hear his joints crack. And on that note, I'm going to have to ask you to clear out. It's been another long day. Getting the feeling you're all going to be long days. Yeah, I'm getting the feeling too. Anyway, have a good night, Phineas. I'll catch you tomorrow. Oh. That was a brief talk. Isabel, I'm sorry I got you killed. Isabel's avatar blossoms onto the screen at you approach. Need something? I'm busy. Any thoughts about that last run? Nope, sorry. Oh, fuck off. Hey, that's how you feel. Can you think of anything else that might help us? I don't know, maybe. I'll put some thought into it. The avatar pauses, turns away. After a moment, Isabel's voice pours through the trio speakers. On second thought, maybe I do have an idea. Are you open to taking on more work? Sure. This wouldn't be working for Auntie Cheng. Think of it as a side gig that you'd be doing for me. I think I've got a line on some software that could help us. I can't get on my own, though. It's a two-person job at least. Kind of software. It's kind of hard to explain. It'd be easy for me to just show you, but trust me, it'll help. I have the run all planned out already. I've done the legwork. I know the location. I know the target. Just say the word and I'll send everything I have to your mission computer. You can look it over, weigh it, and decide if you want to do it. Let's do it. The Isabel avatar closes its eyes for a moment, then opens them with a smile. Done. You'll find the pertinent documents waiting in your inbox. If you decide to accept the mission, just check the box in the message documentation. It'll ping my comlink automatically. Can't wait to find out what this is all about. I'm sure that the briefing I sent you will satisfy your curiosity. Trust me, Stubtoe Williams. This is a good job with a solid plan behind it. You'll see as soon as you've read it. And speaking of which, you should go do that now. Say no more. I'll go check it out. Fantastic. I can't wait to hear what you think. By which I mean I'm going to go talk to Gobbet. Gobbet looks up from a hot plate at the sound of your approach. A smile creases her face. She raises her eyebrows and gestures at the cabin around you. You know, the bolt hole has really been shaping up over the past few days. With all the work we've been putting into her, she's starting to feel like a real home. Anyway, enough about the boat. She puts her hands on her hips, sending madness scurrying. Ready for your next lesson, or did you just want to chat? Ready for my next lesson. Yeah? That's good. I was hoping that you'd want to keep going with this. It's good for you, and I'm kind of enjoying it too. Gobbet runs a hand through the knotted ropes of her hair, a contemplative look on her face. A moment later, she turns her attention back to you. Alright, this is going to be another long story, so I'm thinking we should take it in chunks. If you've got any questions, you can ask them along the way, and if you need to take a break, we can come back to it. Sound good? However you want to do it, it's fine by me. Good. So last time I told you about the event that brought an end to my illustrious career as a subcontractor. This time I'm going to tell you about a run that I went on with my regular team. Nightjar's team? No, this was long before I hooked up with them. Iz was still learning to deck back then. She was good for her age, but she wasn't ready for prime time, and it'd be another couple of years before I'd met Nightjar or Auntie Cheng. You don't know anyone from the group that I'm talking about. They're all gone now anyways. You've lost 3 teams before you hooked up with me? Yeah, I did. Thanks for rubbing it in. Touchy touchy. Maybe I am. But I'll bet that if I poked in all the people you've lost over the years, you get touchy too. Anyways, the truth is I'm mostly over it. When you run the shadows, losing people is an occupational hazard. As Shadowrunners were disposable assets, it shouldn't come as a surprise that we get used up and tossed away. It was the same way in the Barrens. Here today, gone tomorrow. Yeah, you know how it is. People die and it's sad, but there's no sense moping about it. Tell me about the team? Sure, she extends a hand so that she can count off teammates with her fingers. Madness scurries down her sleeve and perches on her forearm. Our muscle was a Hawaiian Jew with poor impulse control. Big round guy with lumberjack arms and ringlets in his hair. He called himself Honu. I guess that he loved turtles? I don't know, street names are weird. We had a tech specialist, Egret. She was tall, gawky, dyed her hair bone white. She had a drone named Arlo that followed her around like a lost puppy. She was kind of a jack of all trades, but she could get the job done. Fun at parties. Our de facto team leader was a guy named Sui. He was a wiry troll, if you can imagine that. Probably about 2% body fight, all skin and bones. Walked with a hunch to make himself look smaller. He was a shaman, followed rat like me. Can't be many troll rot shamans out there. Not that I've met, but Sui seemed like a really good guy. We got along fine. I actually really liked everyone on the team. They were a lot of fun to be with. How'd you meet this group? Through mutual friends. We actually all lived together before we decided to start running as a team. There was this floating squatters commune out in Hung Hom Bay. It's probably still out there, actually. I haven't been back in a long time. But I spent a few years living on the thing, and the rest of the team lived there with me. A raft? Basically, we called it the sinking ship. It wasn't much to look at, just a whole bunch of shipping containers all bolted together into a great big floating brick. Wasn't the most comfortable place I've ever lived, but the price was right and the company was good. I'd like to hear more about the sinking ship. Let's hold off on that for a little bit, okay? I'd like to get through the rest of the story before we spend any more time on the raft. After your lesson's over, I'll tell you whatever you want to know. All right, fine. So one day, Sui brought us a job. He'd met a client in Victoria Harbor Bar, a rich Eastern Tiger exec. The guy wanted us to steal something for him, a shiny object. She raises her hands. I know, it's stupid, right? But that was how the Johnson described it to us, the shiny object. That was what he wanted us to get. He never gave it any other name. Seriously? A rat shaman hired to steal a shiny object? Yeah, you can see how the gig would be hard for us to resist. Anyway, the client told us what to look for. He described it as a chunk of red jade about the size and shape of an ostrich egg, with mirror polished surface and gold wire inlays. He said that it'd have paper charms hanging off of it, foo talismans, Taoist sorcery stuff. We weren't supposed to touch those. The client also told us about the shiny object's then owner, an old hedge wizard turned entrepreneur named Kong Zuan. Hedge wizard? He had the whole wise old sage thing going on. He had the robes, the little hat, the kind smile. Oh, and the piece de resistance, a long wispy beard. He was mean as a snake, though, had her up to prove it. Intel said the old man's wand was keeping the shiny object in one of his warehouses. He had a bunch of them. He built himself a nice little empire selling magical paraphernalia through puppet vendors in the Yuami Te night market. Supposedly, a good fifth of his stalls in that place were on Yuan's payroll. What kind of magical paraphernalia are we talking about? Pickled reagents in mason jars, hermetic scrolls and charms, relics looted from Buddhist temples, crates of an old Balinese Rangda masks, fist-sized stones from a great dragon's kidney. Zwan sold it all. How we got his hands on it in the first place for anyone's guess. I get the picture. We'd cased the warehouse for a couple nights before the run, and we were pretty sure that Zwan was keeping our payday in the vault area at the very back of the building. But the old man had enough triad protection that we'd have to be sneaky to get there. Sui was the one who came up with the plan. We'd split up outside and enter the warehouse in 2 teams. Team A would create a diversion. Team B would hit the vault while security was looking the other way. We'd grab our payday, regroup, and get the hell out of there. Yeah, Splitting the group is almost always more trouble than it's worth. I'd agree with you if we were going in expecting a straight fight, but as a Shadowrunner, you should almost never want to get in one of those. When you're on a job, you're always going to be outnumbered and outgunned. Going quiet is inherently safer than going loud, and if splitting the group is what it takes to do that, she shrugs. Anyway, Team A, Hanu and Egret, circled around to the loading dock just like we'd planned. Sui and I waited by the service centers. Why the fuck would you put both rat shamans together? We didn't have to wait long. A couple of minutes in, we heard this ungodly crash, then another, and another. As it turned out, Egret had rigged into Zwan's network of automated forklifts. She had 6 of them running amok in the loading dock, chasing down workers and crashing themselves in anything marked fragile. Subtle. It wasn't supposed to be subtle. She was making a distraction, remember. Honestly, Seattle, you need to start paying attention. Anyway, Egret's distraction did what it was supposed to do. As Sui and I watched, most of the Triad guys at the service entrance abandoned their posts and went hauling off toward the loading dock. A couple guys with baseball bats stayed back, but we handled them easily enough. We slipped inside and made a beeline for the back of the warehouse where the shiny object was supposed to be. Let me guess, something went wrong. No, actually, it was there, just like we thought it'd be. The door was open and everything. The shiny object was sitting right there in a teak cradle, gleaming with reflected light. Just like the client had said, it had a ring of Taoist talismans hanging off of it like a grass skirt, the paper all crinkled with age. We didn't waste any time. I reached in and grabbed the thing. It felt strange, though, in my gloves. The jade sort of pulsed, as if it had a heartbeat. Sounds ominous. Yeah, tell me about it. I wanted to drop the thing, but it was our payday, so I slipped it into my satchel instead. Couldn't get the flap closed quickly enough. The package being secure, Sui and I turned to hightail it out of there, and then things went to shit. Did the shiny object do something unpredictable? No, not the shiny object, Old Man Zwan. He was standing there right in front of us, larger than life. I'm guessing when he heard the commotion in the loading dock, he'd come running, well, waddling, to make sure that his treasure was safe. As it turns out, it wasn't, because I'd already stolen the thing. He looked displeased. What'd you do? What do you think we did? We had our backs to a wall and lit the old bastard up. It was pretty epic, truth be told. Spirits were summoned, spells were discharged, the vault door sealed behind Zwan like something out of a movie. At one point, the old man leapt onto Sui's back and tried to bite his ear off. I won't bore you with a play-by-play of how the fight went down. In the end, we crushed him. Unfortunately, the fighting had caused some collateral damage. At some point during our showdown, the control panel for the vault door must have eaten an arc of lightning or the blast of a powerball. It was toast, all black and melted, and neither of us could fix it. Were you trapped in the vault? Yeah, it's about the size of it, and it was only a matter of time before the old man's remaining security guys found us in there. There was still one way out, a ventilation duct up high in the rafters. But it was too small for Sui to fit through. He was a troll after all. I had this shiny object, but if I left Sui there and security got to him, well, you do the math. So here's the conundrum. I've got our payday in my satchel, the team is split. It's inevitable that more Triad 49ers are going to find us, but we don't know when or how many. Egret and Hanu are holding their own in the loading dock, for now. I can stay with Sui and fight off the inevitable wave of Triad 49ers, but we're badly outmatched. Badly. The odds of survival won't look good for either of us. If Egret weren't pinned down in the loading dock, she could probably get the vault door open again, but in order to get to her, I'd have to leave Sui alone in the vault. If Zwan's reinforcements find Sui before I get back with Egret, well, she uses her thumb to draw a line across her neck. So that's the scenario, Seattle. Not a lot to work with, I know. Well, I'd go for Egret, because you fucked up by putting both shamans together. Could have done that, I guess. Might have worked. Of course, it could have gotten Sui gunned down in a vault, too, but in retrospect, that would have been a huge loss. Wouldn't. Anyway, that wasn't what I did. I saw what I thought could be a way to save the day, so I went ahead and took it. I fished the shiny object out of my bag. I still remember how the Taoist talismans that ring their thing crinkled in my hands. I remember shrugging, the hell with it. I put the thing in Sui's bare hands and told him to go nuts. It was almost like Sui had been waiting for me to pass on the thing. He seemed eager to take it. He hugged that chunk of rock to his chest like a newborn baby. Color swam in the stone and something changed in his eyes. Then Old Man Zwan's 49ers breached the door and Sui unleashed hell. She paused, frowning. Stopped scratching Folly and uses a hand to rub her eyes. Finally, she turns back to you. A sour look pinches her features. What went down in that room? Well, I've only seen that kind of carnage a couple times in my life, and I've been running the shadows for years. Those Triad men were torn to scraps by the end of it. Don't think I'll ever forget the sounds that they made. She clears her throat. I spent most of the fight huddled up in the corner for my own safety. What Sui left loose from the stone didn't seem terribly interested in discriminating between friend and foe. Did he summon hostile spirits or something? Something like that. Truth be told, I don't know what they were. Like I said, I was hiding. But he couldn't have done it without the shiny object, not in a million years. Whatever they were, the rock brought them here. What happened then? We waited for things to calm down in the vault and for the things to go slithering away. I think that Sui had some limited control over them, which is why they didn't need us. After they were gone, Sui gave me the shiny object back, I put it in my satchel, and we bailed. We collected the others on the way out. They were blissfully ignorant of what had happened on the other side of the warehouse, and I didn't see a reason to change that. We hightailed it back to the docks and caught the first boat back to the sinking ship. Mission accomplished. Gobbet looks away again, stares off into space. From what I'm told, people still avoid Schwann's warehouse like the plague. It's supposed to be haunted even to this day. People who set foot in the building keep turning up dead. Pretty sure I'm one of the only living people who knows why. Anyway, that's it. Lesson's over. If you've got any questions, go ahead. What's the fucking point of your story? There was when I started telling it. I thought I was going to tell you to be comfortable with breaking the rules. I don't think I'm going to say that now, though. I'm not feeling it anymore. Why not? Your team made it alive. They didn't stay that way for long, but let's just leave it for next time, huh? Can you tell me more about your fucking ship? I moved on to the sinking ship when I was just a kid. Think that I was 12, maybe 13 years old. In the beginning, it was just me and a couple of rat shaman friends, Cadmus and Malvina. They were older, but they were always cool to me. Is it typical for groups of rat shamans to congregate? Not terribly, no. I mean, we have lodges, same as any other group of shamans. You can usually find a few of us hanging out in those. I guess that there was just something special about our little group, or maybe about the sinking ship. We liked it. We felt at home there. It didn't hurt that the sinking ship was well stocked in provision when we found it either. Don't look at me like that. It was abandoned when we took it. Abandoned? There was a team of Shadowrunners that lived on the thing before us, but they bid it on a job. Cat and Mal heard the knock of opportunity, and they claimed the theft for the raft for rat in record time. Taking over the sinking ship wasn't an easy job, mind you. The previous owners had installed traps and automated defenses all over the raft. Cat had her hands full with those for a month. What kind of traps are we talking about? Explosives, pop turrets, that kind of thing. Cat and his sister Yasmin took care of most of it without too much trouble. The biggest problems were the scuttling charges. The runners who built the raft had installed these explosives all along the perimeter that would rip the bottom out of the thing if they were ever seized by the police. The explosives were tricky to deal with. Cad was able to disarm them, but he had to leave them where they were. It was always just slightly uncomfortable knowing that I was sleeping on top of a couple 100 pounds of dormant explosives. Can't blame you there. Hey, like I said, it was free. There weren't really any rules to follow, which suited me fine. Malvina was sort of the leader of our secret little nest. But we never really listened to her. She was always trying to play the mom card and instill a sense of responsibility to us. It was cute. She did have a propensity for getting things done, though. I have to give her that. Anyway, after a few months, other people started showing up. Squatters, homeless people, Shadowrunners, and assorted crazies. As long as they stayed cool with us, we were cool to them. Eventually it became a community. Imagine that. Stranger things have happened. Yeah, I guess. Let's take a break and come back to this later. Any thoughts about the last run? Did you even come? You didn't bring me on our last run. So no, okay, fucking... I'm sorry. Oh, fucking Christ. Hey, Seattle, I'm sure this lesson wound up getting a little unfocused at the end. I'm not really sure what came over me. Happens to the best of us. Well, I still feel bad about it, so look, I'll make you a deal. Your next lesson will definitely be on point, and I'll tell you what it's about up front. No more question and answer sessions. How does that sound? We'll see. Isabel has a job for us. Inbox. Job offer from Isabel. A video. A recording of Isabel pops onto the screen. She stares into the camera, her eyes full of intensity. If you're watching this, you've decided to listen to my job offer. That's a good thing. I wasn't convinced that you would. Our target is a local Decker, a former Wampoan. In the Matrix, his handle is Rhombus. He has the software that we need. Unfortunately, he's unassailable from the Matrix, and nobody knows where he lives in meat space. But I know where he's going to be. There's an event coming up that Rhombus can't afford to miss. He might already be on his way there. As you're reading this message, Deckers from all over Asia, white hat and black hat alike, are converging on the Harbor Spires Hotel. This year, Harbor Spires is hosting DeckCon, Hong Kong's largest annual decking convention. Rhombus is going to be there, and that gives us an opportunity. We're going to hit the convention, find him in meat space, and get the software away from him, and we're going to do it quietly. Enclosed, you'll find a copy of the plan that I've worked out for the run, presented in bullet point format. Everything should be fairly straightforward. Isabel's image winks off the screen, replaced by a blinking cursor. As you watch, the screen begins to fill with lines of simple instructions. I'll provide you and one other runner of your choice with visitor passes for the convention. I'll proceed ahead of you using my own guest badge. I'll hide in the woman's laboratory on the first floor. You will enter via a kitchen and procure me a uniform from the catering staff. Please be sure that the uniform is size 4. We'll rendezvous. I'll change into the uniform, and using it, I'll infiltrate the administrative wing on the 6th floor. You'll proceed on to the convention hall and wait further instructions. Using the admin computer, I will identify Rhombus via his guest registration form. Once I've done this, I'll alert you via comlink. I'll upgrade your badge to VIP status, granting you access to the VIP wing of the hotel. You'll tell Rhombus that he's been granted VIP access and offer to escort him to a complimentary hotel room. You'll escort him to a room that I designate and hold him there. I'll jack out of the Matrix and make my way from the admin wing to your room. We'll intimidate Rhombus / beat the tar out of him until he gives us the software. We'll tie and gag Rhombus and stuff him into a storage locker. We'll not be gentle. It's okay if he starts crying. Actually, please prioritize this. I want to see tears. Software until we make our escape. The glowing text fade and Isabel winks back onto the screen. See, it's a simple plan, just like I said. We should be able to get all through without firing a shot. So will you do it? Take the run. The pre-recorded footage of Isabel winks off the screen. A real-time feed of her Matrix avatar replaces it. Excellent! I knew that I could count on you. Saddle up, Stubtoe Williams. This is going to be fun. An urgent task? I have more urgent tasks to deal with first. Head to DECCON 2056. We'll bring Wu. You know what? We'll bring this fella. When did you level up? Shotgun mount. Raptor's drone gains an auto shotgun attachment, which does an additional 2 damage to the cost of 5%. Actually, can hit adjacent targets at ranges of 6 or greater, uses 10 ammo. Raptor's drone cachet gains a mounted saw blade arm in the melee systems. This attack's critical chance is greatly boosted. Confirm. You know what? Maybe we'll see the doctor. We'll see what he's up to.